embrace ideas and new things as well.
You know, one thing that I've picked up in this sport is that we have a lot of gatekeepers. I mean, your purists that would believe one needs to come from boxing for them to make a great trainer or administrator. While this is a different ball game, and what I love about this new kid that's coming on the block, it has great administrators on board. You know, we can count. It's these are people that have excelled in their professional space. So somehow let's stop thinking that boxing is all about putting gloves and going into the game. We need marketing. There's a whole lot of things that goes into this. We need planning. I mean, I look at the way in that has just happened today. Everything was professional, and boxers were also taken care of after the weigh in in terms of food, which is not something that you usually get from your purists, you know. So if we can move away from the mind of saying I've been here long, and let's give other people a chance to come and see how can they make an impact, and let's look into changing the sport and championing and making it the best as it used to be, reclaim the former glory days of making it not even number two and number one sporting coach in the country.
If you allowed me to chip in, Brush Rocks, we did see today some of the boxers weren't able to make the weight, but what we noted most was that another opponent, I think Samuel Moeti, went missing in action. And when we spoke to some of the trainers and managers, it seems like he had done it the first time and he got away. He was going to be given a 1 year ban, but BSA, I think, was lenient. So, how do we try and ensure that if one gets into an agreement which is signed, they have to step up and they have to be there because now it messes a lot of things.
I think we're gonna have to set an example with Simon, and you're 100% by saying this was not his first time. Uh, Initially, the reason we did not ban him, I think legally you cannot ban somebody or give him a harsh sentence for doing something, for breaking the law for the first time. But now clearly this is becoming a trend with him, and I can put it on record that I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that he gets a slap for this. Not just a slap, but he gets punished for what he did because it spoils the whole tournament. He's supposed to be a main bout. The event is marketed. People are talking about the main bout, Simon Moeti versus Sileke, and the next thing he makes a no-show. So from where I'm seated, it looks like somebody that has no interest in boxing. So something will need to be done. If it had anything to do with me sentencing him, I will say for the whole year let him not license. But well, that's still subject to my principal's decision. But from a PM's office, I can tell you in the next 6 months, Simon Moeti will not be seen in the boxing ring.
Yeah, and lastly, I think also that I guess this is the kind of professionalism that also goes to the people that he's working with to ensure that as you trying to revitalize the sport of boxing, bringing professionalism, you ensure that all these things are taken care of. Because as you say, that there's a lot of marketing that is taken into space, and when you promote a certain bout, people are pinning their hopes on that.
You know, it would be unfair to only punish the boxer. Obviously, you have a manager, and it means the whole team now. We have to look into also punishing the manager as well. You know, this I mean, this is what we call messing up somebody's tournament. And as I said, this is not his first time. So, but unfortunately, in this instance, when he messed up, he was not with this manager. So clearly, when you look into the whole thing, it means the problem is the boxer and not really the management team because he did it with another manager, not the same manager. So with that said, I would forgive the manager because none of his boxers has ever done something like this in the past. So clearly, the problem is with the man himself.
Okay.
So maybe he needs some professional help. Before we go into sentencing him, we'll have to try and intervene in terms of to see if he needs help. We'll take it from there.
Okay. If you allow me, Prashlox, I would love to hear your opinion because this is a great initiative. I mean, when you introduce a series, it's more about sharpening and honing those skills, keeping those boxers active. But we did hear Smash speaking last in the last press where I spoke to her, and she was like, inactivity almost destroyed her career. She was inactive in South Africa. So maybe could we see tables turning, having a series that's male dominated, but also try and incorporate women into this?
You know, from a personal perspective, I would say one of the things that maybe the minister needs to look into is allowing boxing to also host events. Because now we have promoters who don't believe in women in boxing, and you can't dictate to someone with his own money. But now, when we as a regulator, since we are governed by an act of parliament, which is obviously we have to go through the minister, when he's given us the right to say, no, boxing, you can start hosting event, it will be easy for us as a regulator to come up with such events. I believe we have great ideas, but unfortunately, those ideas will die as ideas because we as a regulator cannot promote. So maybe that's something that needs to change on the amendment of the regulations going forward to say boxing can host its own events as well. And that will assist us because we have a database of knowing who has been actually in action, who has not. It's easy for us to just go back to the database and give those people that did not get an opportunity a chance for their financial year.
Last one before I let you go, Pratrox. I'm a bit interested because seemingly tomorrow it will be the Battle of E flyweights, or maybe the NBC is titled the Series of Flyweights, but I stand to be corrected. But what sparks more interest to me is why the flyweight division.
Uh, flyweight is a very active division countrywide, and we know right now there is in social media there's this battle between the Mecca, the real Mecca, the former Mecca, which is the battle between Gauteng and Eastern Cape, and this is where you get most of the time your cream of the cake flyweight division. And fortunately, I was also a former champ in the same division. So clearly, it's not that I had an influence in NBC wanting the flyweight, but flyweights, that's where a lot of time you get a lot of boxers which can come with a championship where we have more than 200 boxers maybe in that division. If we had went for a welterweight, I'm definitely sure in Gauteng on its own, we will never get 14 welterweights.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, if you look at the world champions who are producing these days, it's between the fly,
Junior light, yeah.
Yes.
From flyweight to junior light, we are very active, and I can, if I had to advise, maybe if they come in with another division, I will always say from flyweight, maybe let's go up until to junior light. After junior light, we're gonna struggle getting boxers, but there's the smaller divisions has a lot of people that have got potential to actually give the fans their money's worth. So I believe that's why they came with flyweight.
Last one from my side, Pratrox. It's a real last one this time, Pratrox. We've heard that Uncle Larry Weinstein will be hosting a tournament where it will only be debutants. I think it will be held in Boisens around 24th April.
26 April.
26 April. So, as someone who's part of the sanctioning and approving everything, how do you feel when you see so much developmental approach oriented tournaments that are happening? Because, yes.
Maybe I think I must take time to applaud what the minister said at the convention. And clearly, Larry was part of the convention. It's the first time, and I must applaud him as well, where I've seen him come with a development tournament. And with him having heard maybe the minister from the convention to say, guys, there is no professional boxing without taking care of development. And I see now promoters are making a U-turn and now coming with development. It's the first time Mr. Winston will be having a development tournament. As to what influenced him, I wouldn't know that, but I believe the minister did a very key thing and played a very paramount role in terms of speaking to the promoters to say, let's look into development. And we truly appreciate that because it means now even the boys coming from open boxing, they will see a reason of turning pros because there's action. So this is a great step that a lot of promoters are taking, and we truly welcome that.
For now, thanks.